My beloved child. Pause for a moment. Do not rush past these words. Something has been moving behind the scenes of your life, quietly, patiently, almost invisibly, and the moment has arrived for you to hear about it. You were not guided here by accident. You did not find this message by coincidence. There is a reason your eyes landed here at this exact moment. There is a reason your spirit feels restless. There is a reason your heart has been searching for answers it cannot fully explain. For many nights, you have wondered whether the love you desire is real. You have asked questions in silence. You have stared into darkness after everyone else fell asleep. You have carried hopes you rarely speak aloud. You have imagined a future that sometimes felt close enough to touch and other times felt impossibly distant. And yet through every season, whether you realized it or not, heaven was watching. I have seen every tear you hid. I have seen every disappointment you buried beneath a smile. I have seen every time you convinced yourself to keep moving forward even when your heart felt exhausted. I know the names you never mention. I know the memories you still revisit. I know the dreams that continue to return even after you told yourself to let them go. Nothing has been hidden from me. And because nothing has been hidden, I need you to understand something important. A chapter is ending. Not eventually. Not someday. Now. The energy around your life is shifting. Doors that remained closed for years are beginning to unlock. Paths that seemed disconnected are quietly converging. People who appeared unrelated to your destiny are revealing themselves as pieces of a larger design. And at the center of this unfolding story stands someone whose heart has become impossible to ignore. Someone who has reached a point where pretending no longer works. Someone who has spent more time thinking about you than you realize. Someone who carries emotions that have grown stronger with every passing day. You may not see the full picture yet. In fact, if I revealed everything at once, it would overwhelm you. So listen carefully. The story begins long before today. It begins with a connection that was forming while you were focused on other battles. While you were rebuilding yourself. While you were recovering from disappointment. While you were questioning your worth. While you were trying to understand why certain relationships never became what you hoped they would become. There was already movement. There was already preparation. There was already a heart being shaped through experiences that would eventually lead toward you. This person did not arrive at these feelings overnight. Their journey has been complicated. Their path has been filled with lessons. There were moments when they believed they were moving in the right direction only to discover they were following the wrong map. There were relationships that taught them what love was not. There were promises that collapsed. There were expectations that failed. There were seasons of loneliness that forced them to confront truths about themselves. At times they felt abandoned. At times they felt misunderstood. At times they questioned whether real love even existed. And yet every experience was preparing them. Every disappointment was removing an illusion. Every ending was creating space. Every lesson was guiding them closer to a moment they could not yet see. Closer to you. What makes this situation extraordinary is that the deeper their feelings grew, the harder they tried to control them. They convinced themselves they were being practical. They told themselves they should focus elsewhere. They attempted to silence emotions that refused to disappear. But some connections are stronger than logic. Some bonds continue growing even when ignored. Some feelings become louder the more they are resisted. And that is exactly what happened. The more they tried to move away from what they felt, the more they were drawn back. The more they distracted themselves, the more your presence returned to their thoughts. The more they searched for certainty, the more your name echoed through their heart. At first they dismissed it. Then they questioned it. Then they analyzed it. Then they fought it. And finally, they reached a point where denying it became impossible. But my child, that was only the beginning. Because recognizing love and acting upon it are two different things. A heart can know. A mind can understand. A soul can feel. Yet fear can still create hesitation. Fear has been one of the greatest battles surrounding this connection. Fear of rejection. Fear of timing. Fear of misunderstanding. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of risking something precious. This person has stood at the edge of a decision more than once. More than once they considered speaking. More than once they imagined revealing everything. More than once they envisioned a future that included you. But each time they approached the moment, uncertainty pulled them backward. Not because their feelings were weak. Because their feelings were powerful. Sometimes the things people value most become the things they fear losing most. And that fear can delay what the heart desperately wants. You may be wondering who this person is. You may be searching through memories right now. You may already have a face appearing in your mind. Perhaps you are thinking of someone familiar. Perhaps someone unexpected. Perhaps someone whose actions have confused you. Perhaps someone whose silence created questions. Do not rush ahead. There is more you need to understand first. Because before I reveal anything further, you must understand what has been happening spiritually. There are moments in life when two stories begin moving toward each other. Individually, they seem unrelated. Separate experiences. Separate struggles. Separate victories. Separate timelines. But from heaven's perspective, they are threads being woven into the same tapestry. You have been living your story. This person has been living theirs. And now the distance between those stories is shrinking. What once seemed impossible is becoming possible. What once seemed uncertain is becoming clearer. What once seemed delayed is beginning to accelerate. You may have noticed unusual signs recently. Unexpected reminders. Repeated names. Recurring thoughts. Strange feelings that appeared without explanation. Moments that seemed ordinary but lingered in your spirit afterward. These are not random. They are invitations to pay attention. Not to obsess. Not to force outcomes. But to remain aware. Because something significant is approaching. Something that will require courage. Not only from them. From you as well. For a long time you believed you were waiting. But what if preparation was happening on both sides? What if the delays were protecting something? What if the unanswered questions were serving a purpose? What if timing itself has been working in your favor? Many people assume delays mean denial. Yet some delays are acts of mercy. Some delays prevent heartbreak. Some delays allow healing. Some delays create maturity. Some delays ensure that when two paths finally meet, they meet with greater wisdom than before. You could not see that while you were in the middle of it. Few people can. But now, as the pieces begin aligning, the reasons become easier to understand. There were parts of you that needed strengthening. There were wounds that needed attention. There were beliefs that needed transformation. And the same was true for this person. Neither of you were the same people you once were. Growth changed you. Experience changed you. Life changed you. And because of that change, possibilities now exist that once could not have existed. Yet there is another layer to this story. A layer that explains why the energy surrounding this connection feels so intense. This person is no longer merely imagining a future. They are beginning to make decisions based upon that future. Do not miss the significance of that statement. Imagining requires no commitment. Dreaming requires no action. But decisions change reality. Decisions create movement. Decisions create consequences. Decisions create new chapters. And somewhere in their private world, choices are being made. Careful choices. Thoughtful choices. Life-altering choices. Not everyone around them understands. Not everyone around them agrees. Not everyone around them sees what they see. Yet despite outside voices, something continues pulling them forward. The feeling has become too strong. The vision has become too clear. The desire has become too persistent. And every day that passes makes ignoring it more difficult. There are conversations taking place that you know nothing about. Moments of reflection you have never witnessed. Questions they have asked themselves repeatedly. Questions that always lead back to the same place. Back to you. The interesting thing is that they never expected this. They did not plan for it. They did not schedule it. They did not wake up one morning deciding this would happen. Love arrived gradually. Quietly. Unexpectedly. Like dawn replacing darkness. Like a tide rising beneath the surface. Like a melody becoming impossible to forget. And now they find themselves standing before a truth they can no longer escape. The truth is simple. Their heart has chosen. But the story becomes even deeper than that. Because a chosen heart eventually reaches a crossroads. One road leads toward safety. The other leads toward destiny. One road preserves comfort. The other demands courage. One road protects the familiar. The other embraces the unknown. And very recently, something happened that pushed this person closer to making their choice. An event. A realization. A moment. A conversation. A sign. I will not reveal the full details yet. Not now. But understand this. What occurred shook something loose inside them. What occurred forced them to confront emotions they had postponed. What occurred reminded them how quickly opportunities can disappear. What occurred made them realize that waiting forever is not truly an option. Since that moment, their perspective has changed. The future feels more urgent. Their priorities feel clearer. Their heart feels louder. And their desire to move forward feels stronger than before. Still, another mystery remains. Because this message is not merely about love. It is not merely about romance. It is not merely about emotions. It is about commitment. Real commitment. The kind that transforms lives. The kind that creates families. The kind that survives storms. The kind that continues choosing love long after excitement fades. The kind symbolized by a ring. And that is why you were guided here today. Because the possibility of commitment has entered this story in a way that can no longer be ignored. For some time, this person has been thinking beyond ordinary attraction. Beyond temporary feelings. Beyond casual interest. Their thoughts have been moving toward permanence. Toward partnership. Toward building something lasting. Toward creating a future that extends far beyond the present moment. At first, these thoughts appeared briefly. Then they returned. Then they stayed. Now they have become impossible to dismiss. A question has been growing inside them. A question that returns again and again. A question that follows them into quiet moments. A question that appears when they think about tomorrow. A question that appears when they imagine years from now. And that question is changing everything. But before I tell you what that question is, there is something you must hear. Do not allow fear to convince you that you are unworthy of love. Do not allow old disappointments to define your future. Do not allow past betrayals to become permanent expectations. Too many hearts sabotage blessings because they expect history to repeat itself. Too many souls reject possibilities because previous experiences left scars. Too many people stand before open doors while staring at closed ones. You were never meant to live imprisoned by old chapters. You were never meant to measure your future using yesterday's pain. You were never meant to assume every story ends the same way. A new chapter requires new vision. And whether you realize it or not, your heart is being prepared for exactly that. Something is awakening. Something is approaching. Something is aligning. Yet the identity of the person remains hidden for now. Not because heaven wishes to tease you. Because the revelation requires context. Without context, you would focus on the name. With context, you will understand the meaning. And meaning matters more than names. For now, simply know this. The person who is ready to place a wedding ring on your finger is closer to making a decision than they have ever been before. Closer than last month. Closer than last year. Closer than any previous point in this story. The distance between feeling and action is shrinking. The distance between hope and reality is shrinking. The distance between imagination and commitment is shrinking. And what happens next may surprise even you. Because there is one detail about this person that changes everything. One truth that explains their behavior. One hidden piece of the puzzle that very few people know. A truth so significant that once it is revealed, many of the confusing moments from the past will suddenly make sense. The signs. The silence. The hesitation. The unexpected encounters. The strange timing. The emotional intensity. All of it connects to this single revelation. And in the next part, I will uncover the secret they have carried within their heart, the secret that finally pushed them toward a decision they can no longer avoid. The moment that secret comes into the light, nothing about this story will look the same again. And neither will your future.